Welcome to Lyrics Behind the Music, the podcast where every episode dives into the story, symbolism, and emotional truth behind one of our songs. From medieval heartbreak to modern metal, from cosmic duets to candlelit confessions, we explore the meanings we wrote, the meanings we discovered, and the meanings we never expected. This is where the music ends, and the real story begins. Who was Lilith? Lilith has been mentioned throughout history in many cultures, each with their own story about her. Let's go all the way back to Mesopotamia. Before she was a rebel, before she was a queen, before anyone called her Adam's first wife, Lilith belonged to the oldest winds of Mesopotamia, a land where gods were carved in clay and the night itself had a name. They called her Lilitu, one of the Lilu spirits, beings of air, breath, and shadow. Not demons in the modern sense, but night wanderers, spirits who moved with the desert winds and lingered at the edges of human settlements. In these earliest stories, she was not a villain. She was the wildness outside the city walls, the presence felt in abandoned places, the whisper in the dark that reminded people the world was still untamed. Her name carried the root Lil air, spirit, breath, marking her as something elemental, something that could not be held. The Hulupu tree, her first recorded appearance. One of the oldest surviving myths places her in the Epic of Gilgamesh, in the tale of the Hulupu tree. A sacred tree grows on the banks of the Euphrates, and three beings make their home within it. A serpent at the roots, the Anzu bird in the branches, and Lilith in the trunk, called the Dark Maid. When Gilgamesh drives out the serpent, the bird flees to the mountains, and Lilith shatters her home and escapes into the wilderness, returning to the desolate places where she was born. This is the first time she is named in myth, and even here, she is already the same archetype she will always be, the woman who leaves rather than be forced out, from spirit to goddess. Over centuries, her image evolves. Some cultures elevate her, calling her Baalat, divine lady. Others depict her as a winged night goddess, slender, powerful, standing on lions, flanked by owls, crowned with horns. This is the figure many associate with the famous Burney relief, also called the Queen of the Night. In this form, she is no longer a mere spirit. She is a night ruler, a tamer of beasts, a goddess who commands the darkness rather than hides in it. Her shadow sisters, Lilitu, Ardat-Lila, and Lamashtu. Mesopotamian mythology is full of overlapping female night spirits, and Lilith's identity blends with them. Lilitu winged night beings associated with desolate places. Ardat-Lili restless spirits who seduce men in dreams. Lamashtu, a terrifying lion-headed goddess who preyed on infants, often linked to Lilith in later interpretations. These figures share themes of wilderness, night, sexuality, and danger. The same traits later cultures would fold into the Lilith myth, what she represented. In Mesopotamia, Lilith was not a single character with a single story. She was a category, an archetype, a presence. She represented the wild feminine, the unknown beyond the firelight, the power of night, the fear and fascination of desire, the parts of womanhood society could not control. She was not yet the Lilith who would stand beside Adam, but she was already the shadow that patriarchal cultures would later try to tame. Long after the winds of Mesopotamia whispered her name, Lilith reappeared in a strange medieval text called the Alphabet of Ben Sira, part satire, part folklore, part mystical commentary. It wasn't scripture, it wasn't canon, but it became the most influential Lilith story ever written. And it begins with a creation no one expected. She was created equal. In this tale, Lilith and Adam are formed at the same moment, from the same earth, with the same divine breath. No rib, no hierarchy, no second-class creation. They rise from the ground, together two beings of equal strength, equal purpose, equal origin, and that equality becomes the spark that ignites everything. The first argument in Eden. When they try to live together, Adam insists on dominance. He wants to be above her, literally and symbolically. Lilith refuses. She says the line that echoes through centuries. We are equal because we were created from the same earth. This is the moment she becomes the first woman in myth to say no, not to God, not to creation, but to a man who believed he had authority over her. The name of God. When Adam tries to force obedience, Lilith does something no other human has ever done. She speaks the ineffable name of God, the secret, sacred name that only angels and the divine are supposed to know. Speaking it gives her power. Speaking it gives her freedom. Speaking it breaks the chains of Eden. And with that, she flies away. Not cast out, not punished, not fallen. She leaves. The angels are sent after her. Adam complains to God that Lilith has abandoned him, so God sends 3 angels to retrieve her: Sinoi, Sansonoi, and Samangaloth. They find her at the edge of the Red Sea, a place of wildness and transformation. They demand she return. She refuses again. She tells them she will not go back to a life where she is lesser, where she is silenced, where she is expected to kneel. The angels threaten her. She stands her ground. This is the moment she becomes a symbol of autonomy, rebellion, and self-ownership. The demonization begins. Because she refuses to return, the story punishes her. The text twists her into a danger to infants and pregnant women, a common trope used in ancient folklore to demonize independent women. This is the beginning of her transformation from equal partner to night demon. But even in this demonization, she remains powerful, unbroken, and unrepentant. Next, we see her in the Kabbalah as the Night Queen. Before she walked out of Eden, before she argued with Adam, before she was rewritten as a warning, Lilith existed in the mystical imagination of the Kabbalists not as a human, but as a primordial force. In Kabbalah, creation is not a single event. It is a series of emanations, light pouring into vessels, worlds forming and shattering, divine energies seeking balance. And in that balance, there is always a shadow. Lilith is that shadow, not evil, not fallen, but the unfiltered, untamed feminine, the part of creation that refuses to be contained, the first woman of the night. In the Zohar, Lilith is described as the Sitra Achra, the other side, not hell, not darkness, but the mirror of the divine feminine, where the Shekhinah is the holy presence, Lilith is the wild presence. Where the Shekhinah nurtures, Lilith awakens. Where the Shekinah blesses, Lilith challenges. She is the part of womanhood that patriarchal mystics feared, the part that chooses, hungers, questions, desires, the consort of Samael. In Kabbalah, Lilith is paired not with Adam, but with Samael, the angel of severity and judgment. Together, they form a dark mirror of the divine couple. This is not a love story. It is a story of balance. Samael is the harshness of God's left hand. Lilith is the fire that fuels him. They are the shadow counterpart to the holy union of Tiferet and Shekinah. The reminder that creation has 2 sides, and both are necessary. The queen of the night. Lilith becomes the queen of the night realm, ruling over desire, dreams, the hidden, the forbidden, the unspoken truths of the human heart. She is not a demon in the modern sense. She is a guardian of the liminal, the spaces between worlds, the moments between breaths. In Kabbalah, night is not evil. Night is mystery. Night is potential. Night is the place where souls are tested and transformed. Lilith is the queen of that place, the mother of shadows. The mystics say she gives birth to spirits of the night, not monsters, but energies, impulses, the parts of humanity that live in shadow, rebellion, passion, independence, forbidden knowledge, the courage to break rules. These children are metaphors for the parts of ourselves we are taught to hide. Lilith is the mother of everything society tries to suppress. Why Kabbalah feared and needed her. The Kabbalists did not hate Lilith. They feared her because they understood her. She represented the feminine without restraint, sexuality without shame, power without permission, knowledge without gatekeepers, creation without hierarchy. She was the unfiltered divine feminine, the part that could not be controlled. And in a mystical system obsessed with balance, she was absolutely necessary. Without Lilith, the world would be incomplete, and that's exactly where our version steps in. Our Lilith, the first daughter, isn't a demon, a warning, or a distortion. She is the truth beneath the myth. The woman who chose herself, the immortal who walks through centuries, the fire that refuses to go out. Our song becomes the correction, the reclamation, the restoration of her original sovereignty. The Rise of Lilith, first daughter. In our universe, Lilith isn't a demon, a villain, or a footnote. She is the first daughter, the original spark of divine feminine consciousness, not created from Adam, not shaped from dust. She is born of the same celestial fire as God, a being of sovereignty, curiosity, and unfiltered truth. Our Lilith. She refuses hierarchy. She rejects silence. She walks out of Eden by choice, not exile. She becomes a guide for the broken, the unheard, the powerful in the making. The song is her ascension story, but also a mirror for anyone who's ever had to rise without permission. The Rise of Lilith, first daughter, is about reclaiming a story that was twisted first, stepping into power after being misunderstood, turning scars into armor, becoming the storm instead of hiding from it, choosing self-sovereignty over obedience. It's a mythic anthem for anyone who's been told to shrink, kneel, or dim their fire. Now we will go through the key sections of the lyrics we wrote and unpack the symbolism, intention, and emotional core behind each one. She walked out of the shadows with fire in her veins. This opening line reframes Lilith's origin. She doesn't crawl out of darkness, she emerges from it, carrying the fire she was born with. Shadows equals the forgotten, the suppressed, the rewritten parts of her story. Fire in her veins equals divine lineage, raw power, and righteous anger. This is the moment she stops being a myth told about her and becomes a myth told by her. A whisper in the darkness, breaking ancient chains. This line is about quiet rebellion, the kind that starts inside before it becomes a roar. The whisper is her first act of defiance. The ancient chains are the roles imposed on her: obedient wife, silent woman, lesser creation. She doesn't break them with violence. She breaks them with truth. They tried to write her story with their trembling hands. This is the commentary on how Lilith's myth was historically handled. Written by men, rewritten to control women, reshaped into a warning instead of a wonder. Trembling hands implies fear, because powerful women have always terrified weak systems. This is the thesis of the entire song. Lilith doesn't hide her wounds. She weaponizes them. Her scars aren't shame, they're scripture. This line also speaks to the listener. Your pain is not your prison, it's your proof. Let the angels tremble. Let the old world fade. This is her declaration of sovereignty. Angels tremble because she no longer fits their hierarchy. The old world fades because she refuses to return to it. And this is the moment she becomes first daughter. In full, not by birthright, but by choice. The core message behind the song is that Lilith rises so others can rise. Her story is a map for anyone reclaiming their voice, their power, or their identity. The song is both a mythic retelling and a personal empowerment anthem. It's about refusing to be defined by someone else's fear. The ending, Lilith in the modern world. The last moment of the song shifts from mythic grandeur to something startlingly human. Lilith, immortal and unbothered, walking through a modern city at dawn. She's not floating. She's not glowing. She's not summoning storms. She's just living. This is the twist that reframes the entire song. She stops for a coffee and a Danish. This tiny, mundane act is the ultimate flex of immortality. It says she has outlived every empire that tried to erase her. She has survived every retelling of her myth. She has walked through centuries and still chooses to experience the world. She is not hiding in shadows, she is among us. The coffee isn't just a coffee. It's a symbol of continuity. The Danish isn't just a pastry. It's a symbol of choice, something she was denied in the oldest versions of her story. Why does this ending matter? 1. It collapses myth and reality. Lilith isn't trapped in ancient texts. She's here, now, blending into the crowd, watching humanity evolve. 2. It shows her power through stillness. After a lifetime of rebellion, fire, and cosmic upheaval, her greatest act is simply existing on her own terms. No throne, no battlefield, just a woman with a warm drink, unbothered by time. 3. It reframes immortality. Immortality isn't dramatic, it's quiet. It's the ability to savor small things forever. Lilith's immortality isn't a curse, it's a choice she made when she walked out of Eden. What this ending says about the song. The entire track builds her myth, the fire, the rebellion, the rise, and then ends with a whisper instead of a roar. It tells the listener, power doesn't always look like lightning. Survival doesn't always look like war. Divinity can sit at a cafe table. Immortality can taste like cinnamon and warm bread. Lilith's rise isn't just cosmic. It's personal. It's ongoing. It's happening every time someone chooses themselves. She walks through the city like she's walked through every century before it. Unhurried, untouched by time. Neon lights flicker across her face, but nothing about her feels artificial. She carries the same fire she carried out of Eden, only now it glows quieter, steadier, like a secret she no longer needs to shout. People pass her without knowing who she is, without realizing the stories written about her were never strong enough to hold her. She slips into a corner cafe, orders a coffee and a Danish, and sits by the window as if she has all the time in the world. Because she does. Immortality isn't a crown or a curse. It's this, a warm cup between her hands. A moment she chooses for herself. A life she built without permission. And as the city hums around her, she looks out at a world that once feared her and smiles, knowing she's still rising, still rewriting, still here. The first daughter, the forgotten truth, the fire that never went out. The song may end, but the story never does. These were the lyrics behind the music, the heartbreak, the humor, the myth, and the memory. If you felt something, If you saw yourself in the melody, then maybe, just maybe, the song was meant for you too. Until next time, keep listening for the truth beneath the tune.